What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your $600 second stimulus check update and your $2,000 third stimulus check update. In this video, we're going to go over the executive orders that happened, the raise of the minimum wage, what's going on between a couple different things there along with the executive orders. We're also going to talk about the second stimulus check and the third stimulus check to try to clear up some confusion, a lot of frequently asked questions I've been seeing from you guys down below in the comments, as well as some new information on the virus. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos, and give this video a like. It really helps out our channel. All right, let's jump right in. President Joe Biden is going to reinstate a COVID travel ban for most non-US citizens to try to prevent the spread of the virus and people coming in, which is strange because this kind of goes against Joe Biden pretty much being like pro-immigration. This is like an anti-immigration thing to try to prevent the spread of the virus. Biden will also impose a ban on most non-US citizens entering the country who have recently been in South Africa. The president will also reimpose an entry ban on nearly all non-US travelers who have been in Brazil, the United Kingdom, Ireland, and 26 other countries in Europe that allow travel across open borders from the source Reuters. Now, what's also interesting here is former President Donald Trump directed on January 18th to lift those restrictions on Brazil and Europe, and Biden is basically rescinding that decision and reinforcing the travel ban, which is really kind of a reversing of roles here because President Donald Trump had been pro-travel ban, and then all of a sudden, right before his term was over, he rescinded that travel ban, which was kind of strange for him. And Joe Biden's kind of doing a strange thing too, is he's adding in that travel ban, even though he's pretty much pro-immigration and is all about, making immigration laws more fair or maybe less archaic. So definitely kind of a reversal of roles there. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think there should be a travel ban from other countries right now because of the raging pandemic and the new UK virus that is spreading across the world, with which Dr. Fauci now confirms is actually more deadly and is actually more spreadable? As you can see here, the variant, also known as 501Y.V2, is a 50% more infectious and has been detected in at least 20 different countries. CDC officials said they would be open to adding additional countries to the list if needed. This South African variant has not yet been found in the US, but at least 20 different states have detected the UK variant known as the B.1.1.7. Current vaccines do appear effective against the UK mutated variant. Also interestingly is that the use of dogs that can sniff out the virus are being used to actually detect if some people have the virus, such as in the Miami Heat stadium, and possibly will be used in the future in airports and other travel-related industries. The Miami Heat announced that it will use a specifically trained dog at the American Airlines Arena in Miami. These animals have been trained to sit next to an attendee if they detect the presence of the COVID-19 virus. If a dog does sit next to an attendee, the person and their party will be denied entry into the arena. On stimulus, let's first start with the second stimulus check of $600. Let me know if you or anybody you know still hasn't received your $600 stimulus check. I got an update for you guys that it will be coming. One of the executive orders that President Biden did is to basically go out and resend the ones that haven't been sent out and speed up the delivery of the ones that are kind of in transit. This will prevent millions of people from having to file it on their tax return, and will basically make millions of people end up getting their stimulus check as opposed to having to get it as a tax refund, basically having to file a tax return and get a refund. I've seen a lot of your guys' comments down below in the comments to say, I don't file a tax return, and having to do that might cost me money, and I'd have to pay somebody to do that. These new executive orders, which we've had 30 of them already in the first half a week of President Biden being in office. And there's more coming over the next several days that I will keep you updated on. One of those executive orders was to speed these up and to make it so you won't have to do it on your tax return. Now, this is going to apply to millions of people, and we don't really know which people. I will keep you updated, but it definitely will make millions of people not have to file it on their tax return. If you end up having to file a tax return to get your second stimulus check, or maybe in the future your third stimulus check, if you don't know how to do this or you don't want to pay somebody to do this, the easiest way is to just go to Google and Google file a free tax return. The first result that's not an ad will take you directly to the IRS's website where you can go there and just file a free tax return directly on the IRS's website. And it's a relatively simple process if you need to do it. Next up, if you didn't see this letter from the TurboTax CEO, this applies for anybody that's TurboTax, but also a lot of other people that didn't get their second stimulus check. Maybe you filed with Jackson Hewitt, or you filed with Tax Act, or you just haven't got your second stimulus check. Some of the information in this letter that TurboTax has sent is very important. And I actually got this from a viewer named Mark Matney. Thank you so much for your help there. This email basically says, we hear your frustration and we want to let you know when you can expect to receive these funds. So where is my stimulus payment now? Your stimulus payment is with the IRS, not TurboTax. Now this applies to other people that aren't with TurboTax. So just bear with me here and just keep that in mind. The IRS has decided not to release these funds to us. This is applicable for other people too. When can I expect my stimulus payment? The IRS has announced that they plan to reissue stimulus payments by the end of the month, which is the end of the month of January. So, here within the next 7 days, they are reissuing stimulus payments for people that haven't gotten them or they're delayed, or basically, if you haven't gotten them, is pretty much the easiest way to say that, because it might be with TurboTax, it might be with Tax Act, it might be with Jackson Hewitt, it might just be delayed and you haven't gotten it and you're not sure why. I have a very important video that kind of goes over the reason why you may be delayed or you may not have gotten it yet. I'll link you to that at the end of this video. And a lot of these reasons will apply for the third stimulus check too. If you do not receive the payment by this date or your financial institution rejects it, then you will need to claim it as a tax refund or tax rebate on your 2020 taxes this year. How will the IRS deliver my stimulus payment to me? The IRS has announced it will deliver stimulus payments by direct deposit to the account where your 2019 tax return was deposited, or by check. We really should say here it also can come by a debit card in the mail. If you get mail, it could be by a check or a debit card. So make sure you're checking your mail for that and don't throw it away. We have been told that the IRS Get My Payment tool will be updated with the information around the end of the month. So remember, you check the IRS Get My Payment tool one time in the morning, and that's it. They update it overnight, so you can check it in the morning. You don't need to check it 5 times throughout the day. It's just kind of, there won't be any more information there. Why am I receiving different information? We have been working as hard as we can to facilitate the delivery of the stimulus checks to TurboTax customers in any way we can. As we've learned new information, we have updated what we know about your payment. In addition, the IRS has acknowledged that updates to their tools are delayed and therefore may not display the most current status information. As a result of these delayed updates, their support agents may not have access to the most up-to-date information. I also want to note that if you did file with TurboTax, Tax Act, Jackson Hewitt, or any similar company, and you didn't get your stimulus check, besides checking the IRS Get My Payment tool, which you can get directly by going to Google and just typing in IRS Get My Payment, and go into their tool and kind of log it in there. Besides that, call your tax company, TurboTax, Tax Act, Jackson Hewitt. A lot of our members here, our community, has told us down below in the comments that they had to verify their account with TurboTax or Tax Act or any of those companies. They had to call them up and verify some information, and then their stimulus money was released. The other thing is, if you have a debit card, that basically you have from TurboTax or one of those companies. They may have put your stimulus check money deposited to that debit card. So check the balance of that debit card if you can, because your check may be on there and may have been sitting on there all along. Again, I will link you to another video at the end of this if you haven't seen it yet that goes over all the possible reasons why your check could be delayed or why you might not get it. And all of these reasons will be applicable for the third stimulus check. And watching that video, if you haven't yet, will be helpful even so your third stimulus check isn't delayed. Next up, let's talk about some of the executive orders and the food stamp raise and the different stimulus kind of packages that have already been passed through presidential executive order. So, number one, I want to talk about the executive order on the minimum wage raise. Number one is Joe Biden has signed an executive order for a $15 minimum wage, but it only applies to federal contractors and federal agencies at this point. So basically, any federal agency has to raise their minimum wage to $15. And also, if you're a federal contractor, then your pay gets raised to at least $15 also. The $15 minimum wage for basically everybody, all 50 states, that has to be passed through a stimulus package, as far as I gather, okay? Because he can do it through the executive order because that's federal. That's basically federal agencies and federal contractors, and kind of he has access to that. Just like the executive order he did on mask mandates, it's on federal property, it's for federal agencies and stuff like that. He can't really do that for all 50 states. And same thing with the federal minimum wage of raising to $15 for all 50 states. That has to be done through a stimulus package, as far as I'm concerned. But honestly, there's so many executive orders going out that I wouldn't be surprised if I was mistaken by something, because honestly, there's so much gray area with executive orders that it kind of changes by the minute. I mean, at first, President Trump, everybody thought he couldn't do an executive order for stimulus, but then he did do it for the $300 per week unemployment stimulus check. So, like how do you make sense of that? Like, okay, we did an executive order for $300 per week unemployment bonus stimulus checks, but we can't do it for regular stimulus checks. So we can do it for unemployment stimulus checks, but not regular stimulus checks. So, like I said, there's a lot of gray area when it comes to presidential executive orders. And when I read through these articles and listen to everybody talk about them, even law scholars argue on whether or not they can. Like, for example, there's a big push from the Democrats, namely Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, to forgive ten to $50,000 of student loans. This comes from Chuck Schumer, comes from Elizabeth Warren. I believe Kamala Harris was in there. And this has kind of been a push for this, and they're pushing even harder now that Biden's in and the Democrats have control of the Senate. Chuck Schumer and Elizabeth Warren, as you can see right here from Elizabeth Warren's official Senate government page, that Chuck Schumer and Warren say the next president can and should cancel up to $50,000 in student loan debt immediately, and that they are outlining an action plan for immediate action in 2021. So, literally, the Senate Majority Leader says that he can do an executive order to wipe out student loan debt. Of Joe Biden said he's been willing to do $10,000. Chuck Schumer and Elizabeth Warren and other Democrats want him to do up to $50,000 per person. So this is one, again, executive orders are such a gray area that you can talk to different law experts and they'll give you different ideas. You talk to a Republican law expert and they'll say, no, this can't be done through executive order. But literally, the Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, says that it can be done. And in fact, this press release was from a few months ago when he wasn't the Senate Majority Leader and they were pushing for this. Now, we know, of course, this probably would have never passed with Mitch McConnell being the Senate Majority Leader, but kind of everything has basically changed now that the Senate is controlled by the Democrats and there's a Democratic president. Literally, the first line here says, presidents have existing executive authority to cancel student loan debt from Congress. This is literally an official Senate government page. So, yeah. So from what I understand, that honestly could be coming. That could be in the next package. It could be an executive order this week. It could be done in a standalone bill. Biden might want to get congressional approval as opposed to the executive order route. There's so many different ways that they can go with a lot of these packages. There's and I call these different buckets of money. We have the student loan forgiveness, we have the Social Security raise of $200 per month, along with the 20% increases and the 5% increases that we went over in one of the last videos. Like, can he do that with an executive order? I mean, can he raise Social Security by $200 per month? Well, uh, President Trump gave out $300 per week stimulus checks to unemployed people. He was able to do that through executive order. Chuck Schumer says that he could do an executive order for student loan forgiveness. So, could they raise Social Security with an executive order? Your guess is as good as mine. You have to be a real deep down law scholar, and even then, somebody would be like, "Well, no, I think differently." So it's like these executive orders are like, well, it could happen, it could not happen, and the Democrats said even up to the day that President Donald Trump passed that executive order for $300 per week unemployment money, they said he couldn't do it. They said after he passed it that it's unconstitutional, he can't do it. But then, and I was reporting this to you because I remember reporting this to you, I go, well, here's the problem with the Democrats wanting to do that. If they challenge it in court and they hold up money for millions of Americans for unemployment benefits, which the Democrats want, one, they're kind of going against what they want just to kind of spite Trump, which I mean we know they've done in the past. Again, I don't pick sides; I just kind of tell it how it is. And but they didn't challenge it, so it became an order. So I kind of the same thing can happen. I mean, Biden can pass executive orders for anything, and then the Republicans can challenge it if they want. But then they have to decide politically if they do. For example, let's just say Biden did a student loan forgiveness executive order or a Social Security raise executive order, and he passes it. And maybe it's big national news, and millions of people are so happy because they're doing these executive orders that's helping them out directly. Would it look good for Republicans to challenge that and say, "Oh no, we don't want you to help out these people"? That's a double edged sword. So that's why executive orders can be very exciting, and they also can be just about like regular things. Like there's executive orders for climate change and travel bans and mask wearing and minimum wage. There's all sorts of different executive orders, but there's also these stimulus packages and standalone bills that are coming. So basically we're going to be getting information about all these different buckets of money: the stimulus checks, the unemployment checks, Social Security raise, the actual stimulus package, mortgage and rental assistance. We cover it all here on this channel. So I will be keeping you updated on all those different buckets of money that you might be eligible for. And you're probably not going to be eligible for them all. Like you're probably not going to be eligible for both Social Security and student loan forgiveness at the same time, or this unemployment checks, but you might be eligible for one, and mortgage and rental relief is going to be a big one, in addition to the actual stimulus checks, which not everybody's actually eligible for those either. So I will be keeping you updated on all these different matters. Make sure you're subscribed down below and click the bell icon so you get new updates. New videos come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., 8 p.m., and now 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will keep you updated on everything. And if you can, share this video so others like you will know about these different stimulus programs, these other buckets of money. Honestly, some of these ones like rental assistance, if they don't know about it, they literally might miss it and not get thousands of dollars paid towards their rent. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have dozens of students that have replaced their 9-to-5 income selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.